guess what I'm drawing, then I'll sub to you guys. I'll subscribe to you guys. By the way, I do daily YouTube videos, so don't miss a video. And yeah, I pretty much just make things that I really love, like making azeria. As you can tell, don't want to lose anyone. As you can see, I don't want to lose anything bigger than me, or I should say anyone, in a matter of fact. So if any of you are my age, then I suggest you subscribe and click that notification. And oh god, no, this is my worst week. I don't really care anyways. And yeah guys, I really don't need that much of appreciation on how that much. So guys, if you see my videos daily, then you know I am making something for all of you guys that you may enjoy. If you're an Undertale fan actually. Because this is something an Undertale fan would want me to do. I know I could have made something else other than this, but I pretty much enjoy seeing others' reactions. If this is on your recommended, then you are chosen. Or it's probably because you like to draw something. I don't know. I have no idea anymore. But now, as you can see, I really don't like it when others unsubscribe. So if you're unsubscribed, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble with me. By the way, have a nice day. By the way, have a nice day watching my vid. Oh yeah, by the way, if you swear, then I will punish you for that. I will not letting you speak. By the way, I'm sick, so yeah, I'm sick. And if you really like it, I spend most of my time drawing, but now it's gonna go off. And hey, Azeria, if you're here, then I'll subscribe to the channel you're on. You're gonna have a YouTube channel when you're like probably my age. Probably. I don't know. But yeah, hope you. So I'm gonna be reacting to this. Like, I'm not sure why I said that, but yeah. Actually, guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and look at some other stuff. So hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna be reacting to this. Bye.
Yeah, this is link. Will be making that's located in Montreal, Canada. Please enjoy the show. We're gonna make a pink colored candy. It's gonna be a little cute animal from the farm. You can guess which animal it is and its flavor. So now we're adding the color. As you can see, the candy is extremely hot. It evaporates the water as soon as we put it in. This is a citric acid that we're adding into the candy. It makes the candy taste not bland. It balances out the sweetness and the sourness of the fruit. At this stage, we're cooling off the candy on the granite table to a degree that we can work with. By massaging the candies like this or folding them, we mix in the colors and the acid. It gives them a really good texture. Alright, this piece is ready to use. So May is now gonna stretch these smaller pieces of candy with her hands on the hot table. So now I'm going to stretch this big piece of pink candy on the hook. So this is the process of candy pulling or candy stretching. By doing this, we fold in air bubbles inside the candy. So it makes the candies very crunchy when you eat them. At this stage, the candy is still extremely hot. So we have to wear and lots of gloves.
I sort of react to everything, but yeah.
199, 200.
If any of you guys
So for those who haven't guessed it out, what we're gonna do.
If any of you guys like anime, say hashtag anime, and I will I'll go ahead and watch anime.
Today we're gonna make a batch of cherry flavored candies. The design of the candy today is another animal. It's a farm animal. It's a little pig. So we're gonna start off by making the pig's nose first. So we're making the pig's nose. We already have what's inside the nose, and now we're just gonna add a little outline to it. So now the nose is complete. Here's what it looks like. It's cute, right, guys?
Cute.
Now the nose is complete. We're gonna move on to the eyeballs of the pig. See guys, we just make one eyeball and then we cut it into two. So now we're gonna have two identical eyeballs. So now we've finished the eye. This is what it looks like. And our next plan is to assemble the eyes and the nose together.
하지만 질퍽거리고 미끌거리고 시원하고 조금 살짝 까칠거리는 느낌도 있고 무거워요. 그리고 제가 왜 분사를 사왔냐면 액체점을 만들기 전에 여기다 분사를 두면 얘가 붙지 않을까 해서 사왔거든요. 누구 수가 있지? 실패. 야구 외상원이. 그래서 외상원이다. 외상원이. 이러고 있다 진짜 집에서 혼자. 내가 시간 걸려도 그렇다고 다시. 파란색이 없어서요. 물풀 맞는다고 좋은 게 아니더라고요. 물풀 맞으면 끈적거리고 한통 당치면 안 돼요 절대. 4분의 1 정도? 5분의 1, 4분의 1 정도? 물풀 넣었잖아요. 골고루 섞어주는 게 중요해요. 그래야 절기가 들어갔을 때 절기랑 잘 효과를 발휘해요. 큰 효과를 발휘하지. 1년 됐는데 이제 알았다. 대단하다. 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 힙합 대단하다. 1년 됐는데 이제 알았다. 대단하다. 하나의 젤리를 jel리인가요? 물풀을 젤리가 똑같아요. 저 맨날 그냥 넣는데 그냥 넣지 말고 오늘 녹일게요. 녹이면 훨씬 잘 돼요. 그래서 녹여요. 따뜻해. 넣고 조금만 저어서 이렇게 벌써 이렇게 뭉쳤죠? 좀 뭉치면 이제 쏟아요. 이렇게 뭉치면 돼요. 돌려요. 오케이 만들죠. 얘를 더 넣을까요? 얘를 좀 더 넣고 걔들이 다 한 번에 다 들어가 버리네. 물 됐다. 이러면 안 되는데. 이러면 안 될 때는 젤리괴물을 더 넣어요. 젤리괴물 이만큼 좀 되게 가능하거든요. 완전히 다 나왔으니까 냉장고에 잠깐 넣었다 빼면 시원하게 좀 더 오래 가지 않을까요? 넣는 것보다? 그렇겠죠? 잠깐 넣어가지고 냉장고에서 5분. 알갱이들이 젤들이 들어있잖아요. 보여요? 뭐야 보이려나? 이제 좀 보인다. 젤들이 막 이렇게 들어있어요. 안에 이런 식으로 잘 표현 같아요 여러분.
Order one. One, please.
fun stuff like that. He'll come up to you and be like, hey, can I get some pets? And then he'll whip around and bite you. Sometimes he likes my husband, sometimes he doesn't. You can try to pick him up, but it might sound violent. That white dog, that's me. He does not like that. He doesn't like anything. I couldn't believe it. I had never seen a dog that small. Oh, it's Cerebella hyperplasia. You're fine. He's just gonna be wobbly. And then a few weeks later, we're like, oh God, we can't let go of this dog. We have to keep Boogie Shoes. And then Bruno's always on the side, not part of it. Bruno and Boogie get along. He just has problems with everyone else. Dogs that aren't perfect or are jerks, they wait the longest for homes. Mailman here. Mailman.
If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, she was the glue. Definitely the glue.
After DC, I was like, I don't know if I could get another dog. Everything was as far as I could see. They're telling me they've been through a lot, and they still love like girls. I think there's no such thing as disabled. I don't know.
Absolutely not. If they do, they don't care.
Never in my life did I ever decide this is where we could be at. Wouldn't have it any other way.
duck suit.
Holly was about 8 weeks old when I first got her.
Holly, come on, this way, this way, this way.
And then she has had anxiety like I've never seen in any other goat.
Holly.
Holly loved to be swaddled in blankets, but then she would get up and move around and the blanket would fall off. And Halloween rolled around. I was out shopping and saw this little duck costume and I thought, oh my gosh, that's so perfect. As soon as I put this duck costume on her, it was like an instant calm over her. I don't know what she's doing. We did try other costumes and they didn't work the same. There's something about this duck costume.
She's been anxious lately, so she's in her little duck suit.
Pocket was a brand new baby. We laid Pocket down on top of her and it kind of had the same effect. She really enjoyed having that little buddy. We would lay them next to her as the little babysitter and she loved it. She's a great mom. The end, yeah.
That is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I'm aboard. Oh dear.
front of the pitcher's mound. Worley went over to shoo it away. Draws a smile from Miguel Cabrera. All fouled out of play. I mean, it is unbelievable. No concern what's going on between the pitcher's mound and home plate.
And his buddy's coming up from behind. Yeah. He has a buddy right behind Vance.
Maybe we should call Vance Whirly Bird.
Cabrera, he's kind of taking his time going in, wondering whether or not he should go.
Now that's got to be crazy.
It's insane.
And it has to cause some disturbance here. I mean, everybody's acting like this is normal.
Who's there for you when you forget a spell in the heat of battle, Hex? Me! That's who! Which means I know a lot of spells! A lot of them! And this one will free me from being your familiar forever!
No, Skull. This is a very bad idea.
Now I can finally do what I want to do! Hang some drywall! But first up, feel the wind on what used to be my face! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Is that something she does a lot?
It's not like Hex to miss our after-school undead club meeting. Totally. And I haven't seen her since she floated away from Professor Eruptor's class, moaning eerily. I hope she's okay.
Don't worry, friends. I'm doing just fine.
Hex! Ooh. Are you all right? Yeah, your voice is weird. Have you been yodeling again?
Oh, I've never felt better.
Parents just don't hug me enough back home. You too?
That was the best hug ever. Remember?
So scary. Now, Chaos, don't let all that applause go to your head, or actually go ahead. A big head joke.
Isn't this fun?
Highlander. Now, I figured since I've already been here at the Academy for a while, we could skip that whole... Now, see? Skylander solo. Say something not good?
Once Hex made you her familiar, you could never part. It was a package deal forevermore. And using a spell to end that leaves her susceptible to being overcome by the evil side of her supernatural essence.
So, just for clarification, that's a bad thing?
Just a nice, peaceful walk to a portal so I can go home and watch my nighttime stories. Totally not creepy that there's no one else on campus for the first time since never. What could possibly go wrong?
Ah! Oh!
Oh, Hex, it's just you. What are you doing out here so eerily? I mean, late.
Everett!
Hex! We've been looking everywhere for you. Are you okay?
Oh, I feel great, Skylanders.
Me. Just all you could ever ask for. Oh, Hex.
Unhand me, Cinder!
Elf, let go! Hey, look! Karate Cat! Guys, everyone outside is infected with some sort of evil plague. It's like cooties, but way more scary.
You see, this is what I was afraid of, Skull. That incantation to separate you and Hex allowed the dark side of her supernatural essence to overtake the good within. Now she's a vessel of evil.
The worst kind of vessel!
And now Hex can spread that evil to anyone she touches. If it overtakes every cadet in Skylander, our enemies will use us in their quest to rule the Skylands.
Why would you pull such a reckless move? Not cool, bro.
I thought Hex didn't need me anymore. She was doing all this studying and practicing without me that I thought she was about to kick me to the sky card.
Skull, you are integral to Hex's success and vice versa. Even if your main duties as a familiar are to do her bidding, there are so many other ways you make Hex a stronger Skylander, including your friendship.
That's just it. Hex is the only real friend I got, and I didn't want her to cut me loose first.
There. You mustn't beat yourself up. The other cadets will take care of that later. Right now, you must find Hex and make things right to stop this.
How do I get close to Hex if she's surrounded by all her evil cronies?
I'll airdrop you in.
Hurry, Skylanders. We're running out of time.
Now, I ain't saying our boy Chaos is weak, but have you...
Parents make their kids...
Chaos's mummies.
Almost finished. And in our...
Ever wash that hand? We've heard jokes about his look. The way he's letting us off. Single...
Acting, we're just having fun. So you know.
Indeed!
Skylands who can't be turned to gold by my power. Cassandra!
That must mean I'm finally as powerful as Mother is!
How are we gonna get through?
You want to be a hero? A real Skylander? This is your shot.
Let's roll!
Skull. Well. Just the head I was looking for. I've been saving a special hug just for you. Come to me, Skull. Join us in evil.
Isolab Evigraf i Evag Exatim, Adina Fau Tenet Evig Tabdula Swala Ekat!
Skull? What's going on?
I'll explain in a minute. Right now, you and me gotta take care of each other and do what Skylanders do best. Save the world from evil. Back to back. Reverse evil blast, 12 o'clock.
I got one at 4:30.
10:20.
At 2:55.
What happened to everybody?
Not so.
Yeah, listen,
So idiotic. Why would you do such a thing, Skull?
I thought you... So I panicked.
You know, you were carefully hand-selected.
Just want to be your fam... Yes! Does this mean we're reunited? 'Cause it... Or the afterlife. So I panicked and acted out.
I was training Solo so we'd be great, Skull. I want us to be Skylanders. I didn't choose you to be my familiar randomly, you know. You were carefully hand-selected over thousands of skeletons. Don't you realize that?
I'm so sorry for all this, Hex, and I swear it will never happen again. I just want to be your familiar and friend again. My orb's back?
I swear, Skull.
No way! Cross...
Here's that hug you wanted.
Together now.
Hey, yeah, we should come together. Let's be heroes in the night.
At the end of the day, I'm a barber. I don't sell haircuts. I don't sell the wax. I sell confidence.
a lot of my clients are happy. In this case, I'm their barber, so I'm able to incorporate waxing so they don't feel uncomfortable booking it at a waxing service. So the reason why I think the video has been so good on my social media and blew up is because of the plain fact that it's different. Men are getting waxed. It wasn't painful at all. It's real quick and easy.
This is going to be my Waterloo, but I will try.
I don't like avocados. We don't have avocados in Croatia.
We have a tree in my house in my country.
It's green, you know, green stuff looks yucky.
Right. Okay, so...
Hey guys, I'm hanging out at the Oregon coast today. I got my wife with me, and we're here doing an experiment with ocean water. As we all know, ocean water is salt water. The question is, can you extract the salt from the water? That's what we're about to find out.
Can you?
The temperature of the water here today is only about 55 degrees Fahrenheit, which is way too cold to go swimming, but we're actually here just to get the salt water itself. And according to the internet, only about 3.5% of the salt water is salt itself. So that means if you were to take about 1 cubic mile of salt water and let all the water evaporate off, you'd still be left with 120 million tons of sea salt. I've wanted to do an experiment for a couple years where I take salt water and just let the water evaporate and see if we can get salt left over. Theoretically, it should work. Now we went down to the super center this morning and picked up a 1-gallon container. When we fill this thing up with seawater, it should be somewhere around 8 pounds heavy. Now here's the crazy thing. Out of 8 pounds of seawater, only about 127 grams of that is actually going to be sea salt. So that's our question today. How much sea salt will we get out of 1 gallon of seawater? That's what we're here to find out. Guys, this water is super, super cold. It's only like 50 to 55 Fahrenheit, which is a lot closer to freezing than we want it to be. Oh man, we're trying to get out a little bit further so we don't get all the sand churning up in it.
All right.
Beautiful. Our 1 gallon of seawater, guys. How does that feel? How heavy is that?
It feels fairly heavy.
That should be somewhere around 8 to 10 pounds of seawater.
Yeah, it feels about like a baby.
About like a baby, a newborn baby?
Yeah.
Which we may be having next year. But out of that 8 pounds of seawater, somewhere only around 130 grams of sea salt is actually diluted in there.
Oh, dude.
What'd you find?
We caught a jellyfish or like a baby something.
Oh, wow, wow. We did, we got a jellyfish. So he's right there, guys. Can you see that? We caught a little baby jellyfish and we didn't even know it. We're gonna let the little jellyfish go back in the ocean, but we're gonna do another scoop of seawater.
Yeah.
That's what I call catching a wave.
No kidding.
Nicely done, baby. Let's take it in. Woo. We caught 8 pounds of seawater, or somewhere around there.
Some clear water this time.
No sea life, no jellyfish in this one. Now, of course, you know, seawater is not drinkable because of all the salt in it. By drinking salt water, you'll actually kind of dehydrate yourself and your organs will start shutting down. So salt, as good as it is, can actually be very harmful. You cannot drink this water. But if we boil off the water or let it evaporate, we'll be left with a substance at the bottom that theoretically will be sea salt. Right now, it looks like we got a little bit of sand in there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to filter that off before we do anything.
Okay.
But cool. So we got our seawater from the Oregon coast. Let's take this back home, process it, and see if we can extract the salt from the salt water.
I've had this sitting at camp here for a couple of days, and that's given all the sand and any impurities a chance to settle down to the bottom. There really isn't much, but just to be safe, I'm going to transfer this into another clear container so we have pure salt water, and then we'll fill this thing up with more salt water and take them both back home. The sand stays pretty well at the bottom, so it doesn't take much to transfer that over. And now what we're left with is pretty clear. Well, there's our relatively pure 1 gallon of seawater. Let's take it home and get this stuff processed. And boom, update guys, here we are 10 months later. I've just had this project sitting on the shelf and today we're getting around to it. So this here is the water we collected from the Oregon Ocean. Looking at it, it's crystal clear. There's nothing on the bottom and there's hardly anything floating around inside. So that's about as clear as we can get it. I got a spoonful of it here, let's see how it tastes. Tastes just like salt water. So here's the setup today, guys. We've got an 8-quart pot, a scale, and a measuring cup. And the purpose of today's experiment is to find out what will happen if we boil crystal clear salt water. So let's go ahead and measure it out and get boiling. So apparently 2 cups of water works out to be about 500 grams, which makes sense because each cup is 250 milliliters. 1 milliliter of water is usually 1 gram, and it doesn't seem to be much difference with seawater as well. So theoretically, we could just pour all the seawater we wanted in here, take the amount of grams, and that's how many milliliters we would have. This should take us up to 3,000. I'm going to stop it right there. We've got exactly 3 kilograms of salt water, which is equal to 12 cups. So we got 12 cups, 3 kilograms of crystal clear seawater. Let's go ahead and throw it on the stove and boil it off. So update guys, it's been about an hour and a half and we have boiled off all of that ocean water. There's no water left, it's bone dry in there, and that crystal clear ocean has left behind a white residue. What do you suppose that could be? Now I've set up a scale and a bowl over here. We can go ahead and zero that out. Now we can go ahead and take a spoon and scrape out all this white residue and measure how much we've collected. Oh, look at that. Came off in a big chunk. Kind of cool. Look at that. So here we have it, guys. We have literally just taken the salt out of salt water. And it comes out in these crusty little crystals at the bottom of the pan. And the reason is because it's not a pure salt, there's a lot of different salts in there. But it is sea salt nonetheless. And out of 12 cups of seawater, or 3,000 grams, we were able to capture exactly 100 grams of salt. So if you collect your water from the Oregon coast, you can probably expect that water contains about 3.3% salt. There we go. Okay, update guys, here's what I've just done. I took all that white crusty stuff and threw it in a blender and blended it up so it was more of a powder. Then I went down to the local grocery store and picked up a couple of glass salt shakers and transferred the white powder over. Screwed on the lids, and just like that, we now have ourselves 1.5 salt shakers full of real, genuine sea salt. How does it taste? Still a little bit warm from being in the oven. That tastes like really good salt. In fact, this would go really good on popcorn. I'm craving popcorn. Real sea salt's becoming very popular in the health food community, and you see it popping up all over bags of chips where they're promoting that they use real sea salt to season their product. Now we just have to figure out how to make cracked pepper. Okay guys, let's talk about this experiment for a second. We started off going to the Oregon coast where we captured a couple bucketfuls of raw seawater. We let that water sit overnight in a couple containers where all the sediment went down to the bottom, and we captured only the water off the top, so we were left with crystal clear seawater. We brought that seawater home, threw it into the pot on the stove, and let it boil on high heat for about an hour and a half until all the water had evaporated. The only thing that we were left with was a white crusty residue that we call sea salt. So we crushed it up, threw it into a couple of salt shakers so we can use it on our popcorn tonight. And that's pretty much this experiment in a nutshell, guys. You now know how to turn ocean...
It's 4:30 in the morning. I want to go home. Get that stupid boat out of the pool. Let's go. Right now. Hey, you idiot. There's no rope. There's no rope tied to that anchor, and you're in a...
You ready?
Recording, I believe.
That's good, as long as it's recording. I'm gonna let him go.
Okay.
Here we go, live release.
Whoa! Hey!
You see that?
He doesn't want to leave.
He doesn't want to go, man. There he goes. There he goes.
Jeez. He missed, buddy. Crap! Crap! Jeez.
Nee, ik denk het niet. Even met een tikje op je kop. Nee joh! Hij is...
Hey guys, alright, so this is Bella's lunch for February 6th, it's a Monday. She is going to get a taco. I have a tortilla shell in here, and in her thermos I am going to put taco meat. So she'll be able to just make her own taco. These are apples with peanut butter and some miniature Reese Pieces, some yogurt, marshmallow hearts, and some cucumbers sliced up. Here is Bella's lunch for today, and I've been asked a few times what kind of lunch bag I use. I use different lunch bags practically every day. The ones that fit the bento box are usually ones that I've gotten for free from businesses. So.
Alright guys, so Peyton is coming up on her first day of school for 2nd grade, and I wanted something cute and fun to give her teacher for the first day of school. So I was Pinteresting earlier, and I saw this super cute teacher survival kit, and it's back to school, and it's got all this stuff in here. So I clicked on it, and I looked at all that they had, and I'll put their link down below. But I'm going to show you what I bought and how I'm going to set it up. I'm going to read, let's see here. So this has like what each thing means. So the first thing is chewing gum to help you stick to it. So we've got some Orbit Sweet Mint gum here, which we'll probably only use one of those packets. The next thing is push pins to help push you through a tough day, which we've got push pins right here. The next thing says lotion to remind you to relax, which we got a little mini traveling size of a Venus lotion. The next thing says hand sanitizer to keep pesky germs away. If my camera will focus, there we go. And we've got this hand sanitizer right here. And then the next thing says chapstick for when your day feels rough. And we've got some Blistex. And then the next one is tissues to wipe away any tears. So we've got some Kleenex tissues here. We'll probably again only use one out of this package. Next is Starburst for days when you feel like you could burst. So we've got Starburst. And then the next item is rubber bands to remind you to be flexible. And I already had rubber bands at home, so I actually did not buy those. I just grabbed some out of our drawer that we had. The next thing is Lifesavers to get you through one of those days. So we've got some sugar-free Lifesaver mints here. And then Advil, when all else fails, take 2 and have a timeout. So we've got this little traveling, the 2 packs of Advils. And then the very last thing is Snickers for a reminder to take a break. And we've got some Snickers here to put in there. So I'm going to fill this container. I got this container at Walmart. It actually came with like different, like you could cut these and make them the size that you wanted to. So Mitchell got this set up for me so that I could put everything in there how I wanted it. So I'm going to put this together and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so I brought Peyton in here to help me set everything up since it is for her teacher. And we're going to get started with adding stuff to the container. So first we're going to get the hand sanitizer. Okay, and we're going to set it in this one right here. Turn it over this way, just there you go. Like to where the label faces us. Perfect, okay. The next thing that we are going to get is the... Let's see here, what can we put next? We're having to rearrange this one a little different. Let's get the lotion, and let's put the lotion right here.
Right here?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect. Well, we'll put it there. Okay. Next thing, I want you to get the tissue. So pick which one out of these 3 that you want.
Slurpee fans, get ready to fill up your favorite cup one more time at 7-Eleven stores at yet another Bring Your Own Cup event. For the 2nd time this year, 7-Eleven is letting customers bring any size or shape cup and fill it with their favorite Slurpee flavor for the $1.50 price of a medium Slurpee. The event will take place from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, August 19th and 20th. That means if you were planning on bringing a giant trash bag or leaky old sneaker to fill with Slurpee, you're out of luck. Feel free to bring a trophy, beer growler, coconut, or any other rule-abiding containers that you like. However, there will be an employee at each store checking to make sure your cups are clean.
Hey kids, Peter from Panda here. I've always wondered how much pop is actually in a 7-Eleven Slurpee. I think they're a fantastic business case because, one, it's frozen, so as you know, the particles in liquids rearrange themselves in such a way when they freeze that they become less dense and larger. So, one, you're not getting as much pop as you would in just a regular room temperature drink when it's frozen because it's expanded. Secondly, they also aerate it by keeping it in that slushy form, which is also going to make the packing of those individual drink particles inefficient. So it's introducing air and creating kind of a space inefficient delivery format. So between those two effects, the expansion of the liquid and then also the aeration of the ice, I've always wondered how much is actually in a Slurpee. So what I did is I actually bought two Slurpees, two exactly similar Slurpees, same size cup, same drink. I actually bought one to drink.
Do you like cats?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like cats.
Yeah, I've had some cats.
Yeah, I do.
What do you think of our cat?
Looks pretty different to me. I've never seen one like this before.
It's kind of cool because I've never seen a cat with no hair.
He look like a monkey cat. He doesn't have hairs.
Can you show him some love?
Show the cat some love? Of course.
Oh, no, I'm scared to show him some love.
Okay, now, hurt the cat.
Que le dé golpe. Hurt him?
Hit it? Why hit it?
Hit it? I'm not going to hit that cat.
Nope.
I don't want to hurt the cat.
Yo no soy violenta con los animales, no me gusta pegarle. Hey, I wouldn't hurt him because he's a human like we are.
It's like abusing a kid or something.
Animals are people too? They're living creatures.
I wouldn't like myself being hit. Not even an animal.
I don't like to abuse animals. I love animals. They're just...
Hello everyone. Do you believe in elves, fairies and other fantastic creatures? No, we're not messing with you, so don't raise your eyebrows skeptically and hem at us in disbelief. Now, what if we told you that there are people on Earth that literally look like they actually belong to a magical race? Anyway, we found one of them especially for you. So in this video, we'll tell you about Kennedy Jourdan Bromley, the tiniest girl in the world. Let's get it on. Looking at the young Canadian Kennedy Jourdan Bromley, you would think she's some kind of unusual porcelain doll created by some modern artists, like the ones that you can find in some Christmas cards with angels. She looks like a little child and some unearthly creature at the same time. And only when you talk to her you can see she's already 14 years old and she's a common person like you and me, but with a very complicated life. During pregnancy, Brianne, Kennedy's mum, was worried that her stomach wasn't growing. For some reason, doctors convinced the young woman that nothing was wrong and she calmed down. But when this tiny baby was born on February the 13th, 2003, everything clicked into place. When Kennedy was born, she weighed only 2.5 pounds and measured just 11 inches. Yeah, that's right. She really was the size of a small bag of candy and weighed about the same. Nurses immediately called the unusual child Thumbelina, and they were absolutely right, because Kennedy indeed resembled the heroine of Andersen's fairy tale. But doctors warned the young mother that this tiny baby was unlikely to survive, because the girl had serious brain damage, and who would have believed that this little one would have been able to adapt somehow? Of course, the parents took the doctor's words very seriously and became very upset, because Kennedy was their first child. And then, well, truth be told, something absolutely incredible happened. Apparently, while the adults were busy grieving, the girl decided to take her destiny into her own hands. Turns out she had very different plans for her life. Well, how else can we explain the fact that, contrary to predictions, Kennedy lived up to a week, then to a month, then up to 8 months when the doctors were finally able to establish the correct diagnosis. After extensive research and complex analysis, it became clear that the tiny Kennedy Jourdan Bromley suffered from a very rare genetic disease, primordial dwarfism. Because of this disease, the girl's limbs and internal organs developed poorly. The disease virtually reduced her size several times as some kind of evil magic. And in addition, this disease gives an amazing doll look to its characters, and Kennedy was no exception. Today, scientists believe primordial dwarfism is extremely rare, and there are about 100 people in the world affected by it. It's no surprise that doctors have no idea how to treat this disease, because growth hormones are absolutely powerless in this case, and other medicines seem useless.
I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Guys, look! Halloween it's not just for humans, it's for pets too. This is terrifying. Look, I would be running to like a little, cause I would be out of there. I'd be like, no, I ain't have time for this. Most of these costumes, guys, in this video are gonna be cute, but this is just terrifying. Catman.
Christmas is a time for kids, and, of course, Santa. And sometimes wishes are so special that even Santa cries. Hi, this is Rick at Knowable, and here are 10 stories where Santa was left in tears. Number 10. When you're a child, for Christmas you always want the biggest and the bestest and usually the costliest toys all for yourself. You seldom think of others. Hey, it's a kid thing. I'm not so old I can't remember that. But some actually do think beyond themselves. In Columbia, South Carolina, 4-year-old Preston Barnett visited Santa at a mall and, instead of asking for toys, the little boy asked Santa if he would pray with him for a 2-month-old boy who was fighting for his life in a Las Vegas hospital. Santa obliged Preston and got down on his knee beside his big chair and prayed with the little boy. Preston had heard about baby Knox Stein from his grandmother. He was found unresponsive by his father and quickly taken to the hospital. After the photo of the two praying went viral, plenty more prayers were sent up for little baby Knox. Unfortunately, the little boy died just before Christmas last year. Number 9. Last year in Houston, 12-year-old Arnolfo Guerrera wrote a letter to Santa, telling the jolly old elf that he didn't want any toys. He only asked Santa to bring a new, healthy heart to his 46-year-old mom because she was dying. He wrote, "I believe in you and the miracles." A social worker took his letter to some local firefighters, who were very touched by his letter to Santa, so they decided to visit Arnolfo with some gifts. He was thrilled to get the gifts from the thoughtful firefighters, but said his biggest concern was still his mom, and that he and his dad pray all day long for her to receive a new heart. He said, "We need her for many more years." It's not known if Arnolfo's mom received her new heart, but we're sure hoping she did. Number 8. 8-year-old Ryan Suffern of North Carolina has a twin sister named Amber. A few years back, Ryan wrote to Santa that he originally wanted a remote-controlled car and helicopter, but he wanted to change that. He wrote that his sister, who weighs about twice as much as himself, was constantly being bullied in school about her weight, and he asked Santa if he could please make that stop. Ryan's mom read his letter, and it brought her to tears. Her son, loving his sister so much that he was willing to give up any toys so she would no longer be teased at school. Well, I really hope Ryan got his wish, as I know for a fact Santa was working on it. Number 7. When Christian's mom answered the front door of their England home one day, 2 men were there. After a brief talk at the doorway, one of them pulled a gun and shot Christian and his mom in their legs. A short time later, Christian wrote to Santa asking if he would help police to capture those involved in shooting him and his mom. Now this happened 2 years ago, and we here at Noble certainly hope Santa was able to give Christian his wish. Number 6. Sometimes, Old St. Nick can be pretty darn magical. While standing in line...
someone trying to reach me, I'll be right there. Whoa! Okay, time to rest. Oh, hello, Donald. I'm very happy to see you. I just came back from a training run with my reindeer. We spent the whole night flying. Ho ho! Did you know that only the bravest and nicest reindeer are chosen to pull my sleigh? They have to train really hard and eat a lot of magic lichen to have enough energy to travel around the world. My dear boy, I'm glad you're here because I wanted to have a chat with you about a few things. Follow me. I'm sure you know that the elves have been working very hard to get everything ready in time for Christmas. But there's something you might not know about the elves. Come inside with me. This is the house of a small group of do-good elves. Did you know that every child in the world has an elf who watches over them? Here's what I wanted to show you. This is the elf who chose to watch over you this year. Just like you, he likes to try new things. You two have a lot in common. He's told me a lot about you. I wish I could wake him up, but he really needs some sleep. You're keeping him quite busy. Oh, good morning, Lanky. Could you go and get my friend's big book for me, please? In my library, I keep a book about every child in the world. And there's so many. Will Lanky be able to find yours? Let's see what it says in your big book. You're 60 years old, aren't you? And you have a great smile. Oh, this is one of your favorite things in the world, isn't it? You've had to overcome some tough times. And if you're on my nice list, I'll know where to find you, whether you're home or somewhere else during the holidays. Do you think you've been good since last Christmas? I know that this year you have been asked to try your best to
Daddy, what are you doing?
I'm doing some work. I'll be there in a few minutes.
Okay.
I'm almost done now. They're right there.
Okay.
Hey, Evan.
Yeah?
What happened to our elf? I thought he was sitting on the train.
Oh, he moved.
Did you touch him?
No?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do you know what happens if you touch the elf, right?
Yeah.
Santa doesn't bring you the presents you want.
Mm-hmm.
You sure you didn't touch the elf?
I'm sure.
Okay. Well, where did he go? Because he was there this morning.
There. I was here and then I was like, well, where'd he go? Then he was right there.
Hey, Evan, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Alright, today we will be using this bottle of water that I bought at a Walmart on sale because it sounded amazing.